Hey guys, and welcome to another one of my Mashin Sentai KiraMager episode commentary and reviews. This time it's episode 4, Princess of the Lost World. And remember, if you do enjoy what you see, please remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Worship those great algorithm gods. Let's get into the episode. The episode opens with Sina and Tamatomo arguing over the name of the masked man they defeated the day before, making Mabashina laugh before the alarm goes off for a Yodon reading as a black Kirame stone appears and the Rangers transform before leaving the base, with Mabashina joining Juru in fire red as we go to credits. Arriving at the scene, the KiraMagers are surprised to see the black stone transform into a black train, which Mabashina recognises as the personal train of the royal family. As the train races through the city, the Rangers try to stop it, with Fire Red eventually bringing it to a stop. As the machines and Rangers approach, a figure falls from the train, immediately recognised by Juru and Mabashina as Gaza, her uncle and the traitor that killed her father and handed her land to the Yodon. Gaza approaches Mabashina, claiming he was being manipulated and the king is actually alive, before dark energy seems to overcome him, before speaking a different language to Mabashina before leaving in the train. Back at HQ, Muryu seems sceptical as they discuss the possibility of the king's survival. That night, Mabashina recalls her bonds with her father before accessing a locked room in the base, where Tamatomo asks what she's going to do with the crystal that she's picked up. She says it's to help her father, as Juru also walks in, but as he tries to talk to her, she blinds them and runs off. Later, Muryu asks Tamatomo why she took the crystal, before explaining that it's just a piece of the giant gemstone that she arrived in, as Sayo realises they might be heading back to where she landed in order to reassemble the stone. At that moment, the alarm goes off as a masked beast arrives sent by Tarantula to aid Gaza's plan. The Rangers arrive in KiraMager, but are soon tied up by the monster, as elsewhere Mabashina arrives at her landing site and is met by Gaza, who tells her how, while fighting the Yodon forces, he was taken over by Emperor Yodon himself, as he asked for Mabashina's stone to help him defeat the Yodon. But before she can hand it over, Juru arrives, telling her it's a trick, because Gaza's story didn't match from the dream he had of the Yodon takeover of Crystalia, showing her his drawing of Gaza from the dream, as Gaza starts laughing, as he says Juru must resonate with the late king in order to see that dream, before changing to his demonic general form, before demanding the stone. But Mabashina refuses as Juru sends her to safety and takes on Gaza by himself, where, despite struggling, is initially able to match the demonic general, but as he's overwhelmed, the others arrive in KiraMager, and Juru dismisses his Gemini copy. Gaza boards his smog steamer, transforming it into a dinosaur, before the two machines clash with sparks flying everywhere, and as the Rangers are attacked by a masked beast, Gaza unleashes Burn Blacker attack, before attacking the masked beast but getting in the way, destroying it, and scaring the watching Tarantula. Before Gaza says he will continue this another day, and with his machine changing back to a train, leaves. Back at HQ, Mabashina apologises to the group, as the Rangers forgive her, before she thanks Juru specifically, causing Muryu and the others to ask Juru what he did, as the episode ends. Okay, so for the first time in a couple of episodes, we're actually taking a break from the individual Ranger focusing. So obviously we focused on green, we focused on blue. Now we're focusing on Mabashina. So we're focusing on light blue. We learned that when the Crystallians, for lack of a better term, I think that's what they're called, when they laugh, they tinkle like a peal of bells, I think the phrase is. So we learn that about them. She enjoys the arguments between the Rangers, and I know technically they're not Rangers, but it's just so much easier for me to refer to them as Rangers. Yes, I know. But it's, it's partly down to I mean, they are still ages, so technically it's still the shortened Ranger name. But, it's like, Die Ranger, Kaka Ranger. It's just habit from all those old ones. But yeah, she likes them arguing when, they're starting to start. they're starting at the start. I mean, better than starting at the end. But at the start of the episode, they're arguing about Neanderthal mask. And it does show that there is more going on than we actually see. So, they are I mean, obviously, they were a team before Juru joined the team in episode 1, because you had the 4 of them. Obviously, they didn't have the machines, they just had the crystals in the base. Why they had an escape route out the roof, I don't know, unless that's how they got them in the first place. But the fact that Neanderthal mask is fought and they don't see it does go to show that they are doing a lot more than we actually see. Which I think is quite nice. It's a bit of world building, we're not seeing everything. She's purring in my ear. But I have to say, it's hard to tell how old Mabashina is actually meant to be. Because she seems to be more childlike in size than the KiraMagers. And they're all sort of teen young adults. Because obviously, Shigeru's an actor. Sayo's like a surgeon. So that's got to be bare minimum early 20s. If not mid-20s. Juru is still in school. Tamatomo just plays computer games. So he's probably younger. Maybe late teens or something. Sina, she does all the sporting stuff. She's got to say late teens, early 20s at most. So this cat is really putting me off. But I love her. I do love her. So her size makes you think like an older teen or young adult. Her behaviour can be quite childlike at times. And of course, in this case, she's easily fooled by her uncle. Who, I mean, be honest, were any of you fooled when you watch this? Like, he's been... Nah, no. Like, when you see the flashbacks and stuff, that she, like, Juru's dreams, but Mabashina was there for them, it's like, nah, he's bad. Not to mention, he's black. Which sounds worse when you say it out loud, not in your head. But, he's a very dark crystal. When, like, the others that are all good are light blue. And he's sort of like a jet black on it sort of colour. So, the fact that he's so... I'm sorry, am I boring you? Everyone's a critic. But, yeah, the fact that he tries to pull off the whole, I was just brainwashed, I'm good, really. And it almost works, except for the fact that Juru witnessed it all in his dream. She's creeping me out now. And that's a dream from before he even met Mabashina. And he heard Garza laugh, which is like that whole bell thing. Which completely just ruins Garza's story, because he says that, like, all his emotions were taken from him and everything else, and yet he kills his own brother and laughs about it. So, at least Juru has, and they say it's because he must have this connection with the king. But how you can have a connection with someone who's not alive and in another, universe? Because I think it's like a different dimension, the crystal world. That's kind of weird, but I guess if it's the barrier between dimensions is weakened, because of obviously them, like, Jotunheim attacking different dimensions and stuff, and taking over Crystallia, and now going for Earth. I suppose there could be a weakening of it, and, compatible spirits, or whatever you want to call it. And of course, his turn to the dark side, the Jotuns, is simply put down to his jealousy over his older brother being king and not him. So, Scar? He's Scar from Lion King. Although, let's face it, it's probably a tale as old as time. Now she's sitting on my arm. But, I mean, even in my notes I've put here, I wonder if it had felt as true. Like, the whole, like, he's turned evil and all the rest of it, it feels right because he is a onyx type crystal. He's jet black. And, historically, that is evil. Look at Darth Vader. Would Darth Vader have been as menacing and evil if his suit was pure white? I don't think so. So, yeah, it's sort of like his colour already matched like the evil side with the shadows and the darkness, which is a recurring theme among Sentai. I mean, go back a few years from this to Tokuja. It's literally the shadow line that, they're fighting against. So you got to think, like, would it have felt as true, his betrayal of his people and everything else, because of his irrational jealousy over his brother, if he was as light blue as they were? Or would it have felt less true, like more like you would have believed that he was taken over? The other thing is, does Gaza outrank the other Yodons? Because you've got Tarantula's Mask Beast and Neanderthal Mask Beast. Coming in, it's attacking KiraMager, which has obviously come over. It stopped Gaza from defeating Kirame Red. He's then gone back into it after they managed to somehow get away from being tied up by it already. And basically, it gets in the way of his attack. And then, basically, he just gets annoyed and destroys it for no reason. And Tarantula doesn't even get angry about it. He literally just cowers and says that Gaza is so scary. Which really makes you wonder, how powerful is Gaza that the other, like, so far highest Yodon that we've seen is actually scared of him, when Juru held his own for quite a while by himself. So it kind of makes you wonder. But I'll leave you with that thought, and I'll see you next time.